Hey guys, what's up? This is Pain User, joined alongside by HD.
What's up, guys?
And we've got a Zerg versus Protoss for you on Atlantis Spaceship, and it's going to be between DongRaeGu as our blue Zerg and Choya as our red Protoss.
Yeah, and this is still from the round of 64 of the first qualifier for IPL4. Of course, this is an online qualifier, and if you guys were watching our prior set, we just got done casting a great set of games. And we're moving on to this second set here, DongRaeGu and Choya. Now, DongRaeGu is currently Code S. He qualified for the 2012 GSL Code S spot, whereas Choya recently fell out of favor of Code A, and actually more of an international star more than a Korean star, such as DongRaeGu. So I would definitely have to give the edge to DRG here, and I actually had a chance to look up their stats prior to this game. DRG boasting a 74% win rate against Protoss.
Which is absurd.
Staggeringly high.
That's insane.
Yeah, and Choya, unfortunately, only boasting a 42% win rate against Zerg.
Yep, but I mean, if our last set was any indicator, the percentages don't always tell the tale of the match, but it certainly is it's indicative of how well somebody's going to do, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, over time, it shows how well somebody might do, but StarCraft 2 is a game where things can happen, and sometimes the underdog can win. So we'll see what happens. It's Atlantis Spaceship, seems to be the first map for the round of 64. And what are your predictions here on this matchup and this map for CDP?
Well, just going into it, I mean, I got to hand it to DRG. I've got to tip my hat to him. He certainly has a ton of experience, and he's just a phenomenal Zerg player. As far as the map, I don't know, that I haven't seen enough games on this map to really break it down analytically and go into that type of stuff, but just based on the size and how many expansions are available and the huge distances between the two bases, I think it'll be really easy for DongRaeGu, assuming the game goes that long, to get into a just kind of epic late game macro Zerg mode and run away with it. I think that Choya might try and end it before then, though, and what is that, a Forge, I believe? Okay, so he's got a Gateway Forge at the front right now, so no early aggression. I thought that might have been a second Gateway for a second.
No,
it's not.
It is interesting to note here that Choya is going for that Forge Gate expand, and a lot of Zergs lately have been countering this with just an all-in against the Forge expand. I think on this map it is a little bit more closed off. You can wall it off pretty well, but all things considered, a lot of Zergs have been being very aggressive against this Forge-style fast expand, DongRaeGu included. I would expect to see, if he decides to be aggressive against this wall, he could very well break it down and cause a lot of problems for Choya, who actually have a little interesting fact for you, Pain User. Choya actually sings to himself to calm his nerves when he plays games.
Yeah. Choya, one of those players known for talking to themselves in the booth, which is always kind of weird. I've seen him do it a few times when they zoom in on his face, and I'm always wondering, what exactly he's up to or what he's saying to himself.
Please don't bust my Forge fast.
Definitely seen it before. It's kind of interesting. I wonder what he's saying to himself right now.
Yeah. Well, it looks like DongRaeGu is not going to be aggressive against the Forge and the Gate. So Choya might be counting his blessings here, because he's going to get away with that expand pretty quickly and easily, as DongRaeGu is looking to set up to go into a long-term affair as he's getting the third down on Atlantis Spaceship.
Got a couple Lings posted outside the front door. Looks like they will intercept this first Zealot on the way out, and I think they'll get the surround as well. So I'm not sure why Choya...
No speed.
Yeah, but even without speed, I'm not sure quite why Choya would send that out. The Zerglings saw the Zealot leaving right as it came out of the gateway. So in my mind, I'm thinking, keep that Zealot at the front door and keep it alive to fight a little bit later, because you're not going to get any valuable scouting information with it. Unless he sees this third, but I really don't think he's going to.
No, I don't think so either. He's already at 4, and yeah, there it goes. The Zealot only making it to the rich gold Vespine Geyser expansion over here, which is an interesting aspect on this map. But, it's a big map, so it's very hard to send that Zealot across the map against 4 Zerglings. And we saw why that Zealot just died. And I do want to say also, DongRaeGu didn't get speed, which I think is kind of interesting. A lot of Zergs will usually get speed, but his gas has actually come pretty late here, and he hasn't really done anything with this gas so far. This is his first accumulation of SP in this game.
Yeah, so he's really focusing on economy, just powering up on drones right now, going up to 3 base. We do have a Stargate from Choya, and he's going to get a Void Ray out here and clear out the Overlord above his natural, maybe clear the Overlord around his main if he can find it, and then probably going to try and harass that third, get a little bit of map control. He's also adding some gateways behind this, so both players right now just setting up for a very standard game.
Yeah, and that first Void Ray is going to make its way out here and begin to work down that Overlord. Pretty common tactics here from a Protoss player to open up with that single Stargate. Gives you great map control things. It lets you take out all the Overlords, even putting the Zerg under supply if you get lucky enough. And the secondary Overlord will make its way in. It'll see 2 gases and 2 additional gateways. So DongRaeGu doesn't see anything too, unconventional, and he should realize that he's playing against a pretty much standard play here.
Yeah, absolutely. Phoenix is going to be the follow-up here to the Void Ray. One already out, I believe, or cancel. Okay, so is that the first Phoenix? Okay, so there is one already out. He's going to get a second Phoenix, so he's continuing Phoenix production, which leads me to believe he's definitely going to try and commit to some sort of harass, whether it be at the third or the natural. There are more than enough queens here at the third ready and waiting, and he'll be able to ward off that first Void Ray relatively easily without really taking any damage. So DongRaeGu looks like he's in a great position right now to me. 93 to 74 supply. And you already mentioned he got that really late gas, so I think that really gave him an opportunity to just power through on econ and get a ton of drones out, get all the necessary tech, and I think now he'll start to convert over and start powering units there. We see a macro hatch and a bunch of units streaming in.
Yeah, actually 11 Roaches coming out to join the field right now to meet the other 9, so we're going to have a total of 20. And quite a few Zerglings as well. I think DongRaeGu is going to stick with this kind of Roach Zergling, and I would imagine we're going to see Infestors at some point here because it's such a great mid-game composition against Protoss. Roach, Speedling, Infestor, and he's even getting Burrow with Speed. Of course, Speed is quite necessary, but Burrow is going to really be a helpful tactic to add on there as well. He did get Speed on his Zerglings. Here comes that air from Choya, and it looks like he'll be able to pick off 1 queen here, Queen User. Not too bad.
Yeah, he'll definitely get that queen. Oh, almost got the creep tumor right there, but at the same time, you have DongRaeGu moving out right now, and he might be able to shut down the third. What does Choya have waiting for him at the third? Just a handful. Oh my god, what a beautiful play here from DongRaeGu, hitting the third from both sides.
Wow.
Forces all of the force fields to be expended, and now Choya is in a world of hurt here. All of his units are surrounded, and he's going to lose his third and this entire army. Beautiful, beautiful play by DongRaeGu.
And right now he's trying to pull those Phoenixes back, Pain User. He's got to try to save his third as much as he possibly can right now. And he's lost quite a few sentries already in this battle. Not good at all. Bringing the Phoenix in finally on the offensive.
He might actually hold. It's going to be really close, though.
He will be able to graviton some of these Roaches, which is going to be great. He's going to need to warp in more reinforcements quickly. Those Roaches are just getting right behind the Nexus and doing so much damage. Unfortunately, these Phoenixes are not using their graviton beam, and I have no idea why they aren't. That's just a waste of space right now in the air. And there we go, using one of their graviton beams to try to limit the Roach numbers. More Stalkers, or Stalkers warping in. I think Choya is going to make the hold.
Yeah, he will make the hold, but I think he sustained a lot of damage right there. In terms of just army, he lost quite a few units, and he lost all those sentries that he had been building up the entire game, which is brutal because DongRaeGu really just threw away a handful of Lings and Roaches right there and just used them very, very well. So in terms of cost effectiveness, I think DongRaeGu came out way ahead there, but it's a lot better for Choya than straight up losing the game. So Choya holds on to his third, and he will be able to recover from this.
Kind of like the lesser of 2 evils. You take the lesser one rather than losing the entire game. In total, I think he lost 1,000 gas worth of sentries.
Yeah.
Just so many sentries just bit the dust. And that's going to really hurt him when he needs those force fields. And right now would be a great time for force fields. Unfortunately, he doesn't have any. The Roaches are going to just waltz their way into the natural and into the main as well. And Choya has nothing to deal with this at all. He's got his Phoenixes once again on the offensive, but there's a Spore Crawler there already. And he's got to bring his Stalkers and Void Rays back home to deal against this. But the Burrow now comes into play. He doesn't have an observer coming out of that robotics facility. I don't know where his current observer is at, but this is very, very troublesome. And there it is. There's that observer.
Yeah, troublesome indeed. And this is probably going to be the coup de grace here. I don't know how Choya can recover from this. His economy is in tatters. He's been pulling his probes from one base to the other. And like you said, Burrow just allows him to keep Choya on his back foot and has to protect all these different bases. It looks like the third is more heavily secured now. A Ling run by attempt right there will be thwarted, but well, I know I said this before and I'll say it again, the damage has been done, and he can actually unburrow these roaches at the natural. Here we go. Going to take out some additional probes. How many probes have been killed thus far? That's just insane.
Good question.
35.
I have an answer. 36 now, as that number keeps going up. Yeah, and Choya is just taking a beating this game, and he will finally clear out the remaining roaches that were burrowed under the natural as he brought his observer over to help detect that. But, you know, during that entire time, you know what DongRaeGu was doing? He expanded to the rich Vespine Geyser expansion. He expanded to the 5th. He's got 5 bases fully up and operational right now. And this goes to that Zerg, goes back to that Zerg mindset of trading against the Protoss and not letting him max out. And DongRaeGu is schooling us on how that's done.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. That's a really, really, really good way to play ZVP. You have to continually trade throughout the game, and it looks like Choya is mounting his first offensive maneuver, but it couldn't come at a worse time because he just left his third. DongRaeGu attacking at the absolute perfect moment. This is going to force a base race, but DongRaeGu is way ahead in the base race. He's going to take out the third and the natural, or he could even come back and defend before any serious damage is done. He might even actually save his third here, which is a possibility.
Yeah, I think so. I love the muted tech switch too, man. I don't think we talked about that at all, but using the Zerg abilities to their full is one of the things they're known for. The Swarm is known for is being able to switch right away on the dime, and they switch right into Mutalisks. And while there are Stalkers on the field, and they do have Blink, I just feel like this Muta switch with Zerglings is just going to overrun the Stalkers.
Yeah, it's going to be a hell of a fight, and I don't know if he has enough. Sentries going down immediately here. Stalkers following suit. There are a ton of Mutas in the air right now. I don't think that's enough Stalkers to hold off a ball of Mutas that size.
Yeah, it's just way too many. And Choya from FXO is going to call the GG in this very first game against MVP.DongRaeGu. This is the round of 64 from the qualifier for IPL4, and that means we will have another game or two, depending if Choya can come back or not. What do you think is going to happen in the next game?
I don't know, but if it's anything like this game, I mean, that was just a beautiful game from DongRaeGu right there. He was really controlling his army very well, pulled Choya to the third, then hit the natural, bypassed the front door, no force fields available after killing all the sentries, and then eventually at the end there, it was just perfect timing on the attack while Choya was trying to counter the third. So really, DongRaeGu just outplayed him there, and I never really felt like there was a threat for him to lose that game at any point, really. I mean, I don't feel like he was behind at all.
Yeah, well played, DongRaeGu, and well, Pete User, we're going to go to the next game, so stay tuned, guys.